This video shows you how to create a common camera mode, like third-person camera. In the blank space of the content browser, right-click, create a blueprint class, and search for camera mode. The camera mode class has two subclasses, which are the generic third-person mode and top-down mode. Here we choose the third-person mode. CM is short for camera mode. I'm going to name it casually because it's a demo, so when you create a custom camera mode, the name needs to reflect the specific purpose of the camera mode. We just need to adjust the parameters in the detail panel to create a camera mode. Each parameter is annotated in both Chinese and English. Use fixed camera rotation is mainly used to fix the orientation of the lens, for example, during an execution. Keep the camera straight in front of the player, pointing at the player. There is no way for the player to change the camera orientation. Using pitch-based curve allows us to choose whether or not to use a curve to determine the position of the center of the shot relative to the player. If false, then we directly give the position of the center of the shot relative to the player and no longer use the curve. The camera location here refers to the position of the center of the shot relative to the player. And the default 300, 0, 0 refers to the screen being 3 meters directly behind the center of the player's capsule. The center of the lens can also be understood as the screen. The screen is 3 meters away from the player. We can first test the effect of the current camera mode. FOV and camera blend time can be freely adjusted as needed. In the BcdCameraComponent on the player, you can set the default camera mode. We change to the newly created mode. As you can see, the camera is 3 meters away from the player. Change to -600, the further away the camera is from the player. When the camera detects a collision, the anti-penetration function is automatically turned on. We can also move the center of the lens to the right. Next, we use a curve to determine the relative position of the center of the shot. Check use pitch-based curve and then we create the vector curve. You can hide other axes. Add the keyframe of the x-axis first. The meaning of the keyframe can refer to the comment of the curve variable. Add a keyframe 0, -300 to indicate that when the pitch of the player's camera is rotated to 0, that is, when the pitch angle of the lens is 0, the camera is 3 meters away from the player. Add a keyframe 0, -400, which means that when the camera is looking down at the player at 90 degrees, the camera is 4 meters away from the player, and the camera can see a larger field of view when looking down. We can modify the transition mode of the keyframe to make the transition smoother. Apply this new curve in camera mode. The camera will change its distance from the player as the overhead angle increases, making the camera look more dynamic. You can test the effect of the y-axis and z-axis of the curve by yourself.